Demonaz from Immortal. You're listening to Heavy Demons.
Okay, dear Demonaz, what shall old and new fans expect from the frosty sonic attack entitled War Against All? I think like cold melodies and variety in riff terms are the main features of the album. Like Norlandir is a fucking monument.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. Well, I think that when I make albums, I don't have... You have a plan when you make an album, and the only plan is to make a better album than the one before.
Yeah.
And along the plan, you make some songs, and when you have come to the 4th or 5th song, the plan is off, because then you just have to find out how the rest of the album is going to sound. This time, I try to keep the same thing as on the Northern Chaos Gods. I try to keep the intensity. I try to keep the signature of everything. I don't try to change anything in the way I want Immortal to be expressed. But of course, it's a different production. Maybe it's a sharper sound for the vocals. The guitars are maybe more biting this time, more like 80s biting sound. Still, I think it's no question. It's an Immortal album, you know. It's like the fans will immediately recognize it, I think.
Yeah. Also the drum sound, like damn good, much more clear.
I think the sound is heavier because the bass drums are a bit heavier.
Yeah.
And I wanted that this time. I thought it was great this time to have some heavier drums, because I didn't want to repeat the sound of the last album, Not Against Gods, you know, and a bit at the heart of winter maybe in this somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. And how was the work in the studio?
Very smooth. I recorded the vocals and guitars and the acoustic parts and everything for the Northern Chaos Gods in Bergen last time in the same studio. And then I decided the next album I wanted to do there. And of course, because of the pandemic, it was easier also to record in Bergen. The recordings went well. The musicians were well prepared. You know, Kevin, which is the drummer on this album, he prepared very well. We rehearsed before we entered the studio for the songs, and also Ice Dale, which was playing the bass on the album. Me and him, we made demos for every song with guitars and bass before we recorded. So we were well prepared for the recording, yeah. It was a great time, except for the pandemic, which made me go in and out of studio with some breaks.
Yeah. Before, entering the studio, before rehearsing, when you work at home, when you compose, you do like demos, you prepare everything.
Everything. But I don't, it sounds probably a bit strange, but I hate computers.
Okay.
I don't like them. So it's not a secret. The people around me know that.
Okay.
So of course I can write an email and I can do everything on the computer. I understand that, but it's like when I work with music, I think it's destroying some of the mood when I work with music. It's a good tool for communicating, but when you want to record something, it's always like when I sit down with my guitar, I want to just play riffs, you know. Yeah. I want to record the riffs fast and easy. So a tape recorder, sometimes the phone, but a tape recorder which is at the same spot every time, it doesn't fail, you know.
Yeah. You
can put rec on it and you record the riffs like riff tapes, you know, like Metallica did in the 80s, you know.
Yeah.
And that is what I make. I make riff tapes. I listen to the riffs. I sort them out. I find the main themes and the riffs that I think I can make some songs from and record, you know, through the air again with the tape recorder or the phone, and I record the whole song on the guitar. I don't want to have like Cubase or computers to disturb my world, because the minute you are connected into a computer, there will come all these messages, all these restart things, and you have to. No, forget about it. It's much better the old way.
While on the visual aspect, what can you tell us about the beautiful artwork by Matthias Frisk?
Oh, it was a relief to work with this guy. But I'm not a good drawer, so I had to make some notes, send to him. I even made a sketch, the Blasjuken face and the ravens out of the mouth. It was like I sent him some notes of my ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And I also made a little drawing for him for the how I wanted the cover to be.
Mm-hmm.
And when he came back with his work, it was perfect. I thought it was the best cover in a long time.
Yeah. What shall we expect now on the live activity side?
In May, the album will be out.
Mm-hmm.
In around the same time, I will gather the other guys and we will have a meeting with the management and we will sit down and see what we can do about it. Maybe some shows. I'm not sure. We'll see. It's got to be on the right terms. So I don't want to make a long tour or anything, and play all the small cities. Or it would be something spectacular if we're going to do justice for the music. But of course, yeah, I'm up for it. So let's see.
We are now in 2023. We experienced difficult years and technologies all around. I wanted to ask you, is Blasjuken a safe place for you to escape from the present days?
It's the only place I can escape. it's like for 4 years ago, I moved out from the city.
Okay.
It was a long time dream to find a house by the mountains.
Okay.
Again, and I moved 3.5 hours out from the city, which is in Hardanger. This is a place where my house is by the foot of the glaciers. So there is snow all year around on the mountains here. So it's a good place to escape. It was a great place to be a composer and make music the best. So when it comes to Blasjuken, Blasjuken is like, for me, there was never a word for the cold and the dark, the cold and dark power, which is like uncontrollable. We can control almost everything, but we can't control the weather. We can't control the surroundings. So there's some kind of freedom in it for me to write about it and to take the fans with me on a journey on every album. And that is what when I was younger and I grew up in the bands like Possessed and Slayer, when I was listening to Beyond the Gate, that album, it was like a journey through hell, When you listen to the song from the first song to the last song. And the same with Rain in Blood, even Master of Puppets, it was like some kind of journey, when you were listening to it. And I thought that I would never write about politics or religion. I would write and make the band have a signature with both the music and the lyrics together, so that when people listen to Immortal, they can't find it anywhere else. It's like one fan told me this. He said to me, when I want to listen to Immortal, nothing else helps. It's like my job is done in a way. and Blasjuken is only on the Immortal records and only in the Immortal music. And that's the signature of the band, and that is also a kind of escape when you listen to it, or when I do the music, or when I work with it. So in the summer months, in June and July, I never write music. I don't want the summer to be a part of my music.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad thing, or it's not like I don't hate the summer, or it's just like a perfect excuse not to make music, and a perfect excuse to take a break, and also make me very much inspired when the autumn comes.
These days, the National Library of Norway is hosting a black metal related exhibition, and a few years ago NRK TV produced the documentary entitled Helvete. How is Norway dealing with the black metal legacy nowadays?
I think it's many years ago it was different, of course, but it changed, because people saw that it was all about the music.
Yeah.
And then all those bad things or bad relations stopped. So I know NRK made this documentary because they wanted me to be on it, but I said no to that.
Okay.
And also I was asked to be on this National Museum Library event talking about my lyrics, but I was busy with other things now. So I don't know the program, but I just know that it's been embraced by the culture in Norway, everything. So it's like Satyricon also did some things with the Monk Museum. So it seems like the black metal has been commercialized.
Okay.
It's been like open to everybody, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's not an opposing life. It's not an opposing music style anymore in the eyes of the normal people.
Yeah, it became like more mainstream, more in a way.
Yeah, that's the word. It became mainstream in a way, and it's not so. I think the people who grew up today, they don't find it any scary in the same way as before, So, and it brings me to the. I think it's like, to me, I work as I always did. It's like I try to have a violent drummer on the record. He plays very fast. He plays very vital. I try to bring as much energy, right energy, into my music as I can. The titles, War Against All, everything is like. I don't want to tone this down and try to make Immortal modern or available for everyone. I'm just trying to get the band back on the right track, to where it belongs, with the old school feeling, and to stay true to what I started.
What kind of music are you into outside the metal area?
More or less film music, or maybe some classical music.
Mm-hmm.
I even like old music from like the 50s sometimes. But 70s rock and roll, of course. The Black Sabbath and the Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple, yes. Iron Maiden is, of course, that's metal, but that's of course always interesting. Yeah, I listen to old Kiss, all of that normal rock and roll shit.
Yeah.
And of course some darker bands, and but classical music, yeah, I like that. And film music.
Yeah, of course, Bathory and stuff.
Yeah, of course. For me, when I listen to the old school music, I listen as a fan, right?
Yeah.
I'm still a fan.
Yeah.
I will always be a fan of that. And when I listen to new music, it's like analyzing, doesn't get under my skin. No matter what the band would be, I will analyze the music or listen to it as a musician. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. Of course.
And Bathory, of course, it was the Bathory first records that shaped defined my way of making music in the end. And the same with Celtic Frost. To Megatherion and Morbid Tales was more an Emperor's Return. The most interesting albums ever. And also Possessed and the early Slayer albums. All of that. Morbid Angel, also the first demo, the Altars of Madness album. That is like, there's very few records like that, very haunting vocals, fantastic guitar riffs, and there is like the next riff will kill the one before. It's very good. So not many records like that, but I don't know. It's like this time, and it's very hard to find pieces like that, I think.
Finally, any Italy-related memories in your life, and one final message and greetings to all your Italian fans?
Yeah, I remember being in Italy sometimes, and I love the Italian food. That is a weakness of mine.
Okay.
So that is my favorite kitchen. No doubt about it. And also the Norwegian traditional food, the Scandinavian traditional food, that's not so exotic for us, you know. So it's like the Italian kitchen is a killer kitchen, and I hope the Italian fans will stay with me. I hope they will enjoy the album. I hope they will find spirit in the songs, and I hope they will journey with me through Blasjök on the album, and I hope to see them someday again. Because I know there's a lot of loyal fans in Italy. I already got this week pictures from the Italian Alps, which was a message from. I got 5 or 6 pictures from the Italian Alps, and it was. The text was the Southern European Blasjök.
There might be some similarities.
yeah, but Blasjök is there too. You know, Blasjök is not a place. Blasjök is, like I told you, the power of north of the cold and dark. So yeah, definitely.
Okay, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you very much for good questions and a good talk. Yeah, take care.